I'm a heavy haul trucker, which means I move big machines around, mostly in Ontario and Quebec, and I've been across the whole country and back a few times. And I'm really glad to be out here speaking to you and telling you a little bit about my experience. So the reason why I'm a patient is because at this point in my life, I've got a lot of miles on me, not just as a trucker, but just my body in general. I'm a 76 model. I've been in for a couple of overhauls. So one of the first experiences I had with healthcare was when I was in my early 20s. I had some issues with blood and urine tests, and they decided that I should get checked out. It turns out I have one kidney. I was just born that way. And hasn't caused me a lot of issues for most of my life, but then back in 2018, I got a note that I had a pretty large stone in there. I think it was 1.6 centimeters in diameter, and they were worried about me having a problem, and I had a problem. So they worked on getting that out of me, and I had some ups and downs through that whole process, went into kidney failure, and that wasn't the best experience of my life, and it was one of the times when it became really an acute problem to me how I was being treated as a person living with obesity. They saw a fat man here, who had no willpower, no intelligence, and no idea what I was doing to myself. That was the way they saw me. And in the ensuing years, I had other experiences, both good and bad, but quite a few bad ones, that led to me eventually hooking up with Dr. Pat, who for some reason, hopefully a good one, brought me to come talk to people about some of the stuff that pisses me off. And I'm gonna try to keep my language a little bit reduced to a level that won't send people running out of the room, but I will admit to the fact that we as truckers teach sailors how to swear. So it turns out that I wasn't a great biology student in school. I was very interested in physics and chemistry. I did okay at that, but life threw me a couple of curveballs. I ended up working in construction for about 28 years, and then I retired from that due to stress and medical problems I had and became a trucker, which is great. I love doing that job. And a number of years ago, I think right about a year or so after I was in kidney failure, my weight had gone up to about 405 pounds. That was the heaviest I ever was, and I could barely move. And I also had all these comorbidities. That's the word they use to talk about all the other shit that's wrong with you. So I happen to have hypertension, obstructive sleep apnea. I have type 2 diabetes. I have chronic nerve pain. I have depression, anxiety. I have knee and joint pain. I have spinal discs that have basically crushed down to almost nothing. And I have elevated blood serum cholesterol. And to top it all off, I have plantar fasciitis. I'm speaking for them next month. And so what I really want to impart to people is that when I show up as a patient, many of you, and I thank you all for your work, if you're doing research at the very beginning of finding a treatment modality, or you're providing the treatment, or you're researching how it's working for a population, you may or may not realize at every moment in that time that there's a real living, breathing person receiving that, and that's me, and millions of other people like me, probably billions really, and all 8 billion people on the planet all need some kind of healthcare at some point, whether it's for just maintaining good health or fixing a problem. And it's greatly appreciated and probably not thought of, the chain that brings us to where we're at. And you're all part of that chain, and you're all great, strong links in it. And at the end of that chain is me. And we receive the good work that's done. And even the work that doesn't pan out tells us one thing that doesn't work. And the work that does pan out finally makes it to us. And I know it takes decades to get there. And I appreciate greatly the hard work people do every day, and they go and they toil away and they learn and they get master's degrees and doctorates, and they work in labs, and they work as clinicians, and all sorts of wonderful things. But at the end of the day, I need to be treated as a person, and I need to receive care that's empathetic and compassionate, and understanding that I didn't do this to myself. I don't lack willpower. I was 405 pounds, and I'm now about 335, 340. And I did not get bariatric surgery yet. I was kicked out of the program for being too stressed. And this is my other main point. This is the point that I find most important, is that if I am able to lose some weight on my own, but not all of it, if my metabolism won't cooperate, if my metabolism fights me every step of the way, I don't lack willpower. I need help. And my brain is part of that help. My depression and anxiety are part of that help. And I've pointed out before, somewhat jokingly, that many people will realize that a net connects their head to their body. And the things that are going on in your head are affecting the rest of your body. It is all one thing. It's a complex thing. It's like the truck that I drive has so many moving parts, and if any one of them fails, you're stuck on the side of the road. And my body was stuck on the side of the road a couple of times. And most recently, I got another kidney stone and had it treated, and it didn't work out. I'm going back for more treatment. But what I want to say is the improvement has been amazing. I've been treated much more humanely. I've been treated as part of humanity by the people I'm being treated now, and not like a mistake like I was back in 2018. And I appreciate that is coming from the efforts of people like Dr. Patton and everyone in this room who's willing to come and learn, meet a person like me, and see that we're real people. And there's many of us. Ian works with so many of us. I communicate with so many of us. We are so proud to be part of it, but we also, a lot of us are coming with a little bit of anger, a little bit of fight in us, and that's not aimed at any of you. It's aimed at a system that isn't quite right yet, and it is frustrating. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say my little spiel. I'm going to talk about the physics that I understand. So I know many of you are probably more focused on biology than I am, but I'm not focused on biology. I just happen to have a body and it happens to be affected by it. But physics and chemistry kind of drag me down a little bit too, and they prop me up. So there's a concept that was proven and reproven, but originally by the Arthur Eddington experiment, that you could see that great masses can bend light. And I am a person who possesses a great mass. But alone, that's not enough. Even though I may be the biggest person in most rooms, I need all of you to come and join with me and help bend the light, focus it where it's needed. And I think we can all create some gravitational lensing that brings the focus where it needs to be, because we have that power as a whole. And I want to thank you all for being here, and I look forward to meeting many of you today.